Short. It's good to see
Hey,
you.
good morning.
Hello, hello. And we want to say hi to our YouTube audience and thank you guys for joining us in the sacred energy of Circle this morning. And today you're going to be able to watch Shore and I as we connect to spirits who have crossed over to the other side and deliver messages from those spirit. And our hope is that by watching the mediums on this channel at work live, you'll come to understand that the loved ones that you may have lost are in fact still with you. So please join us as we open with prayer. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Please help us to open all of our senses, physical and spiritual, so that we can receive your messages without interference from our own minds. We humbly ask that you make the circle an uplifting and joyous experience for everyone in attendance. Please ask the spirits who recognize the voices in this room to join us this morning so that we will know that they watch over us, love us, and protect us still. And please allow us to deliver the information presented by Spirit with grace and compassion, in complete trust and respect of your infinite wisdom. Amen. All right, and I am not going to set a timer, so whenever anybody gets a link, just hop on in there. Okay, let's see how I can dig up for you Shore here.
Okay, I can start.
Thank you.
There's no point in waiting.
Okay,
Just,
you jump ahead of me. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, they're all always around anyway, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's really up to us.
yep.
Okay. Kind of feel I have a sisterly energy. I don't feel you're related, but it's a more of an acquaintance. And you would have known her from her younger years, like a really strong, I want to say big personality, jolly, just truly fun-loving person. But there's some aspect of her in her later life that feel like becoming nun-like. Nun. Would you understand that?
Hmm. I am not sure
Okay.
if the everything except the nun could be more than one person, and I'm not
Okay.
sure where the nun is going. So,
Okay. Yeah, somehow none seems like significant around this lady. And things would have taken a sharp turn for her. I feel as health-wise. Um, Barely crossing mid 50s, 56 around there.
okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, just life turned on a dime for her. And it was a fairly short period of time. It took to really go on the other side. It just feels like inescapable disease. Uh,
Yeah,
my
it's
heart is
true.
being. I feel cancer.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, there was no cure. Of course, there is no cure for cancers. But it just, I see a sharp decline in her health. Her, yeah, as if she was just robbed of energy very quickly, depleted.
Yeah.
I'm practicing names, so I've been asking spirits for names. So let's see if would you understand a K or C name around this lady?
I understand that. My name. See,
Okay. Um, Somehow I'm kind of Karen,
Karen.
Catherine, something like that.
I think I believe she's got somebody like that on the other side of the family. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Somehow, as you said, other side of the family. Um, my mind went to mother.
Ah,
Her mom. Anyway, I'll just leave that
eh,
aside.
yeah. I
Whenever.
just don't know.
Okay. All right. Would you understand this nun-like features around her? Whether she wore a cap like nun, or there's some resemblance to this religious attire.
It's symbolic, and I understand it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, very, very saintly, very
Yeah.
saintly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not resonating with the church for some reason, even though I'm kind of seeing that attire, I'm not resonating with the church or association with the church.
That would make sense.
Okay. But she had some inklings. She had some inner desire that she could not fulfill, it feels like, because she did not plug in fully into that depth of the religion. I did not plug in myself. So she didn't go all the way that she wanted to, as if there was something that was trying to hold her back. But there is some aspect of like watching spiritual or church type movies. Um, there's more talk about that as well. So there's talking. Would you understand her talking about getting more deep into the religion, but not truly getting into so deeply.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Mm. I feel you did go together at some religious ceremonies or services. Uh, and it feels like it's during winter time. Um, so there's this aspect of that you would understand
Yeah.
going together. Um, and it just feels like either rain, heavy rain, cold winter time.
Actually, I realized this is somebody completely different
Uh-oh.
than who I thought. Okay, and in which case, the K name actually makes sense for her.
All
So,
right.
okay.
So would the nun features also still resonating with this person?
I under, yeah, yeah, there is should we say like an inner holiness, I guess would be the way that I'd phrase it. And I did go to church with her.
Okay, all right. So
Yes.
we
So
found.
that's not who I thought it was, but now this
Okay.
somebody completely different and it still makes sense. So go ahead.
Wow. Okay, I'm glad we have solidified her. But yeah, there's just so much jolliness, so much satisfaction she would have gotten by becoming religious to the extent that she went went to. Um, there were a lot of unfinished business that
Yeah. Hmm.
she, because the departure was fairly quick. So, yeah, things undone, not done.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it just feels like there are boxes and boxes of things that she needed to take care of. There are some boxes open symbolically. I'm getting um, that she was still sorting through her affairs, and it just she just didn't find the time. There was no time left.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I feel she would have shared some details about her life, her inner desires, her including her demons. Not so much about the demons, but there was some openness that she showed with you. I feel like we're going out for coffee or dinner to a quieter place, and she would open up to you. Some conversations. You would have some private conversations with
Yeah.
her.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, Those good times. Those were good times, she wants
Yeah,
to say. Just hanging out together. Um, she's glad that you continued going to the same church. Um, hanging your clothes next to her hanger. Um, and you remembering her as you hung your overcoat in the closet
I did.
where she hung her jacket as well.
Hmm.
And every time you did that, you missed her, you remembered her.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that was her giving you um, this nod and acknowledging that she heard you, she felt she felt what you were feeling. Um, you were like a true friend. You were like a true friend, like a friend in need.
I praise. Thank you.
Yeah, you can't get people like you. Uh, not many people like you um, that you would open up to and be friend with and share things that you know would stay with you. Uh, no gossiping or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just yeah, take her low um, and just reminisce more more of those times that you guys spent together. And yeah, occasionally go back to that same church and feel her energy because she will be there.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
So I'll
that was
stop
wonderful.
here, leave you with her love and blessings.
Oh, that was wonderful. Sure. Thank you. I'm throwing up hearts for that. So, and for the benefit of our YouTube audience, this was kind of interesting for me because this is a person who's never been in before. Okay. And when Shore first started talking, my mind was not on this person. I was thinking of somebody else, and I was thinking, okay, this makes sense. But then he got to the point where he said, "You went to church with her," and I never had gone to church with the one that I was thinking of. And so I was like, wait a minute. Okay. And then it clicked who it was. Okay. And that person's name was Karen. Okay.
Wow.
So,
Thank you, Spirit.
so and comically, okay, this is the fault of the sitter right here. Okay, I'm pointing the finger at myself. Okay, for not making an accurate identification of my own spirit right out of the gate, but that happens. Okay, and I think you just have to kind of run with it. But for Shore's benefit, okay, yes, we were very close, okay, and she was just a very, very fun-loving, happy-go-lucky person, okay, and then, like you said, life turned on a dime for her, just like that, and there was no escaping the inevitable, okay, and it's interesting that the nun was a symbolic thing. Okay. So, because that was a memory for her. Okay. Because I actually met her in a spiritualist church. Okay. But she was raised in a Catholic church. Okay. And she had gone to the priest and said that she wanted to be a priest. Okay. And of course, back then, they just said, well, you can't, because you're a girl, and and it just was wrong because if anybody would have made a good priest, it would have been her. Okay. And the unfinished business that all happened because it happened so fast, that she didn't have time to get, like, all those final things done. She just didn't have time to do it, so I'm really glad to hear from her. I just,
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense now that
yeah,
she could not plug in deeply to her inner
yeah,
desire
yeah,
to go
exactly.
deeper into religion.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, exactly. But she was a very,
amazing.
very spiritual person. So that was fantastic. Okay. And I'm grateful that you stuck with that, in spite of my shortcoming there, which is kind of funny. So, but you know, but I'll ask you a question, sure, okay, about this, because I'm sitting there and I'm listening. I was listening to this reading and I was laughing at myself and I was thinking, what a terrible thing this would be for, like, a new medium. Okay. When, like, you have a sitter who and your sitter is the one who's wrong. Okay, it's your sitter who is wrong. Okay, all right. And, like, can you speak to our YouTube audience about how, like, when you were just starting out, like, the difficulties that you encountered in working with sitters and how you worked through that?
Yeah, it's a yeah, it's a good collaboration, of course. Yeah, sometimes it takes time for sitter to really get enough pointers, points of evidence um, that they need to be 100% sure. Yeah, it's a common issue. I mean, the information sometimes resonates with two, three people, and then gradually, with more information coming through, uh, the right spirit is solidified. Yeah, so it's not unusual, um, and it's not the sitter's fault either because in the initial period, there's only so much information shared, and if it's resonating with more people, then it needs to be teased out. But if if you're heading in the other direction, not to the correct spirit, so spirit would give additional information to really make sure that it's them getting into your space, your energy to identify them in your mind. I hope that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's a yeah, it's a collaborative process. Spirit always makes sure that eventually it's the right one that's identified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
Sometimes
just
it takes
witnessed
a
that.
little more information. I've seen also sometimes person cannot take much of the information, only a little bit, and suddenly when there are multiple sitters, the information switches, the spirit switches,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and the new
Okay. Explain
information that
that to our YouTube audience. Okay.
yeah, so the new information that comes through is actually a different spirit with more significant information coming in that resonates with another sitter. The first sitter could not take much of the information, even though they identified initially, yes, but as more information came, they wouldn't resonate, and the spirit pivots to actually different spirit,
Okay. Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
make sure that the time is used efficiently, energy that's came through is respected.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've seen it happen in readings, like, where I have described a spirit, that I'm working with. And like the sitter will say, no, no, no to me. And then I realize what it is. It's just a difference in people's perception of the person. Okay. And, for example, my perception of the spirit may be that the spirit's a bossy person. So I'll throw that word out, and the sitter will not feel that that person was bossy at all because the sitter is bossier than the spirit. Okay, so and but the point is that that's my perception of that person. Okay, or to put it in physical terms, I may say that the spirit is tall because I'm short. Okay, and my sitter might be 6'2" and say, well, they weren't tall because they weren't tall relative to the spirit. So sometimes, I think you have to just trust, the information that you're getting. And if the sitter doesn't seem to understand it, just work through it and say, why is this not making sense to my spirit? And recognize that things like that can happen, just differences in perception, you know.
Yeah. But I'm glad that the name that came before,
Yeah, Karen.
it,
Yeah,
it didn't resonate initially so strongly,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it did later
Because
on.
I was thinking of somebody else, and
Yeah.
that her name was not Karen. So
Okay. Okay.
that's why. But then when you said she went to church with you, I was like, I never went to church with the other one. And I was like, okay, and
Uh,
then I realized, oh gosh, yeah. And that was the first time that she's ever been here too,
yeah.
you know. So she
So
wasn't necessarily,
I'm
yeah.
glad I got the name.
Yeah, yes, you did. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, so
Yeah.
that's a lesson for our YouTube audience too. That's why you want to work toward names. That it can make a huge difference sometimes.
Right. Right. And I requested to them this morning, uh, provide names, please.
Did you? Okay. All right. Yeah, and speak to our YouTube audience about how that process works. You requested to them. What do you mean? Spell it out.
Yeah, like I do meditation before
Hmm.
um, uh, the class circle or live streaming.
Hmm.
And I put out my request to them, my desires. Uh, and I know name is something very difficult initially, but with time, with persistence, and with remembering each and every person's name you meet, even on the phone, we tend to dismiss the names.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
sometimes you call like doctor's office or some nurse picks it up and she says, I'm Carol, how can I help?
Hmm.
And the conversation goes on you describing your things. And in that process, you forget the name of the person
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
talking to.
Yeah.
So I try to remember each and every person's name. So this helps solidifying names. So I started that kind of recently. So it seems like it's being fruitful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's some good advice because people do that in social settings too. Like at parties, they'll be introduced to people and forget their name 30
Oh,
seconds after they've been introduced. And so that is very common, I think, that names just don't stick in the normal realm. Okay, a lot of people just don't make an effort to remember them. Okay, so I would say take Sher's advice here and make an effort to get names, remember names. Okay, and sometimes it starts like I've heard mediums say things like, I have a name that starts with a T. Okay, and like they can hear like the first letter, but their hearing is not quite to the point where they can get the full name. So sometimes it will start like that. You'll just get a tiny bit. Continue to work with that, and see what happens.
right, right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's some good stuff. Thank you. All right. I'm going to see who I can get for you here.
All right.
And as I look into your spirit world, it's Men Day for you. Oh, your guys are here. Let's see. Who do I want to pick? Uh, okay, so full and fair disclosure to our YouTube audience, um I have worked with Shore before and and have actually read his spirits, but I also personally set the intention to forget all of my readings. And so like every time they come in, they're like a fresh person to me. And I actually see a team of three up here. All right. And the one that I want to talk about first is there's one who's on the taller, thinner side, a dark-haired guy. Um, and I'm going to say he has a good head of hair, too, just like, really looks nice. Uh, and he seems like an intellectual fellow to me, more on the quiet side if you don't know him well. But if you know him well and he trusts you, then he will speak freely. And in that case, his conversations seem thoughtful and intelligent. So that's a mouthful. I'll stop and ask if that any of that resonates with you.
It does,
It
yes.
does. Okay. All right. Let's lean more into this guy because I'm going to see actually if I can pull in all three of them and figure out how they're connected. I might fall flat on my face, but um, I'm going to try. This is, because this is how you learn. So, all right. So when I talk to this tall man, yeah, yeah. Okay. The tall man, is he feels to me like he's a tea drinker. Would you understand him drinking tea?
Tea makes sense here.
Okay, tea. All right. Okay. He just showed me a view, and I have no idea where he's going with it, but I'm going to describe what it is that I'm looking at. Okay, so it's like he took me out on what looks like if you were in like a high-rise hotel and you stepped out on a balcony, okay, in your hotel room. Okay, so but I'm looking from his point of view and I'm stepping out on what looks like a balcony that has like rails that go like this. Okay. And he's looking out onto what looks like a fairly big city. Okay. So would you understand this view with him? Because I have no idea where he's going with that.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that.
Okay, because I'll tell you what, sure, it's interesting because the sun is coming up over this massive city. Okay. All right. And he is stepping out onto this balcony to watch the sunrise come up over this massive city. Now you have to tell me what it means. Okay. Uh, and I feel like he actually liked to be up early in the morning because it was quiet time for him. Would you know that about him?
Yep, yep.
Okay. All right. And he just liked being alone, um, not having to talk to people and just looking to see what nature offered. But I have to ask him why he is in this strange setting because it doesn't seem to fit with him. Give me a second. So he's kind of laughing about it. He's laughing about this and he's saying I wonder if this is what the kings felt. So he's talking about, and this is going down a rabbit hole, okay, but he's talking about like the quote ruling class, okay, like surveying a domain, okay, and like the vastness of their empires, okay, and he's saying, I wonder if this is how they felt, all right, which why are you doing that? Because he seems to have a particular uh, compassion or empathy for people who live in poverty. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is um yeah, I think that the part about him being in the building, like overseeing the domain, so to speak, is like symbolic of like how the ruling he would have perceived the ruling class to see it. Okay. And his point to you is that they overlooked um, the people who were really struggling. Okay. Um, because they were
Uh,
looking from too high a viewpoint. Um,
okay. Now I can understand a little bit of balcony as well.
okay, okay, all right. I'm curious. Okay, yeah, that's it. For the benefit of our YouTube audience, this isn't our normal type of reading. Because what Spirit is giving me is like half message, half evidential information. So I'm going to uh, well, let me ask you, are you reasonably sure you know who I have? Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I'm going to stay with the message because it feels to me like he's got something he wants to get off his chest. So I'm going to let him do that. And let's see. Okay. And it seems to me in particular that he is concerned about like medical issues, lack of like health care and things like this among poor people. Would that make sense to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And all of a sudden he's showing Mother Teresa. I don't feel like he knew her. Okay. But but she's there and he's showing that famous picture of her washing the feet of the poor in Calcutta. Okay. All right. And he's talking about her compassion, okay, in helping these people that no one else wanted to help. All right. And um and he said and it's then he's shaking his head and he's going like this and saying, you could spend your whole life doing this and you'll never be able to help them all. Okay. So he's looking at it as being an insurmountable problem. Um, but he says, if you can help one, he says, if you can help one, okay, then that's everything. Okay. So, boy, we arrived at that in a roundabout way. Okay. But that's his message. I think for you, it feels to me like he's talking about you looking at an enormous uh, and looking with a good heart at an enormous challenge and not even knowing where to start. Okay. And his advice to you is just help one. Okay. And he says, if you help one, maybe you'll be able to help two. Okay. Um, and who knows where it'll go from there. Okay. And I think I'm going to leave that there. Okay. And thanks for letting me serve spirit. Sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. And close to the end, you were talking truly about actually, yeah, he was helpful. He donated to poor, and he could see some poor people where he lived. He was early riser, sat in the balcony for tea,
Oh, no
and
kidding.
saw people of different kinds. In the street or from the balcony view. So there were quite a few poor people as well. So his heart was like to help them. And in the end, you said help even one person.
Yeah.
And there's one person in my life that I see this guy is handicapped on a wheelchair. Sits at a particular location where there's a little bit of traffic and cars come by to make a turn, and he's always there. So I make sure that I give him a quota every month.
Oh, sure. Gosh.
So instead of I can't be there every day, but I know I have set a quota like $20 a month,
Okay.
and I make sure I pass by him and give him the money.
No kidding. That's the one person.
So he was his heart was very kind too, and it's interesting you brought in Mother Teresa, which everybody knows, and that helps open up people's heart, mind to help others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah, he was very intellectual. He was on the quieter side, dark hair. Um, and thinner, yes. You said taller, so that's again relatively speaking.
Coming from the girl who's 5'4", he's
Yeah,
taller than me. I can tell you that, but most people are.
yeah. So yeah, you did very well. You did very
Oh
well.
gosh.
So
Oh,
yeah, he has come before as well.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't get relationship on that, but don't tell me. I'll save that for another
Okay,
time.
yeah,
So,
but this
okay,
is
if he's been in here before, I'm sure he's going to be back. So,
yes, yes, yeah.
so,
That's
oh,
wonderful.
oh, well, thank you. Sure. Thank you. You know, well, before we sign off, how about if we just, maybe give our YouTube audience some tips on how they might connect with their own spirit people. You want to try for that, do you think? And see,
Connect
like,
with,
especially if they've never, let's just like pick, I'm sure there's somebody out there who has just lost a loved one and they want to know that their loved one is okay. All right. But they've never had any experience with the spirit world. Okay. What would you recommend they do?
yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit hard unless you are kind of very deep into spiritualism and do meditations almost every day.
Mhm.
Um, it's because it's easy to another person, read for another person, bring in spirit for them of you do not know much. But if you are trying to connect to your own relatives or close loved ones, it's hard because you already know so much information. Unless something new comes in, you always feel like your mind is giving you the information.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it
Okay.
is hard.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
but it's not impossible, I
it's
would
not
say.
impossible. No.
Okay, because I mean there are plenty of people out there who've had experiences like, I know I smelled my mother's perfume. Okay,
Oh,
and things like
yes.
this. Okay, and that can happen, but as Short pointed out, the big problem is your own mind. Okay, because you want to throw you're dialed into that and say, that can't possibly be right. That can't possibly be right. We'll throw it out. Why can't it be right? Okay. And then if you open up your heart to it, you might be surprised. You might find more of that person. But
All right.
um, you know, I have heard of so many different signs, you know, that people receive from the spirit world, from their loved ones. And of course, you know, the big ones, they talk about feathers, okay, turning up in unexpected places, and pennies and dimes, small change, things like this that just like turn up where they shouldn't turn up. But sometimes it can be more overt things too. Okay. You know, like spirit has some energy. Okay. And one of the most common things is that they can actually, um, you know, sometimes activate cell phones, things like this. Okay. So, you know, kind of be open to it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. If a spirit gives the information like the smell, or the signs and symbols, that is easier. But if the person needs to connect just like we're connecting to the spirit, that's a little bit difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And I
because,
agree.
yeah,
I agree with you, you know, because I personally find it more difficult, you know, to connect with my loved ones on my own, you know, than I find it to connect to yours. And, you know,
yeah,
and I'm a medium, so it's harder for me, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
But it's, yeah,
yeah. Well, one of the things I'll throw out is you know, before I go to bed, you know, I'll go shut all the lights off and just lay in bed, and I'll think about, you know, that person. And then sometimes they'll come through in dreams, you know, which is always nice too, you know. But
right, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, you know, you might have some success bringing them in that way, but you know.
yeah, yeah. Intentions play a big role in there, but yeah, you can still get like yes and no information easily, um, and also get feeling, depending on, okay, you throw out the question to the universe, to the loved ones on the other side, and see how you feel. Once you're calm, cool, collected, um, meditated, not medicated. uh, yeah, you can get some sort of some sense of like positivity, negativity in your heart, and whatever you feel in the heart space can give you information as to what your question was. So they can relay information through that. You can always also say out loud or in your mind a question, use like a pendulum for yes and no answers. So
We've never
there
talked
are
about it.
ways, but generally bringing them for yourself, it is a little bit hard. You can feel them. You can feel them.
Okay. You brought up, sure, something that we've never talked about on this channel, so we'll talk about this. Okay. And this is a pendulum. Okay. I got this as a gift from somebody, and I don't use this very much, but sometimes it can be useful for yes and no answers, because my hand here is just, wait a minute here, let's get it stopped. But you use these and you ask them yes, no questions. Like, I'll ask this pendulum, is my name Carol? And watch what happens to it. Okay. So what that means is that's a yes answer. All right. Because my name is Carol. Now I'm going to ask it a different question. Is my name, let's see, is my name Barbara? And my name is not Barbara. Okay. Yes. Okay. But you can see, as Shore said, you can use these to ask yes or no questions. And you don't even have to have a rock like this. You can tie any heavy object on the end of a string, and just use it with the weight to see how it works. Just make sure that your hand is steady, okay, and let this do the work for itself. But, this, a good way to ask, okay, about your own loved ones. Okay, I'm going to ask, are any of Carol's spirits here right now? And you see right away it starts moving that yes. Okay.
Yeah, back and forth.
Back and forth wildly. And I'm not doing anything uh, to move this. Okay. And if you try this by yourself, you'll see, you'll do the same thing. You're not moving it, but you'll see that it starts to move on your own. Actually, Oprah Winfrey used one of these on one of her shows once. It was kind of funny. But that's one way that you can, maybe get some indication from your loved ones, but the limitation of them is that you have to ask yes or no questions, to those. So I'm glad you brought it up. Sure, we never talked about those before.
Yeah, I would just say that before you do anything spiritual, just call in your loved ones and
Yeah.
whoever you believe God to be around you to protect you. So always cover yourself with the light so that only pure, positive
Yeah.
energies come to you.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. All right. Ah, well, that was fun. I did something a little different today. That was good. All right. Well, we want to thank our YouTube audience for stopping by and join us this morning. If you liked what you saw here today, please hit like and subscribe on the channel, and you'll be notified of our upcoming live streams. And, I'm going to go ahead and close this down with a prayer. If everyone would join me, please. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Thank you for this gift of mediumship that you've given us, and allow us to use this precious gift to help others who need your healing and love. Bless our friends and loved ones and protect them from sickness and harm. Bring joy into the lives of people who have sorrow, health into the lives of people who have illness, and abundance to the lives of people who have little. Thank you for the lessons that you've given us today, and help us to continue to build a relationship with you that is based on love and trust. And always please help us to be the lights that change this world for the better. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thanks for
Great.
coming. Hope to see you next week, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye.